What's going on, people? It's your boy Kelechi back with another episode of the Hold up a second. This is not another episode of the Rambling Mind podcast. By the way, if you don't know, check it out. The Rambling Mind podcast available on all platforms. This is a video I'm gonna make because I got a few questions from my previous video on me finally seeing some rewards from investing, and somebody wanted me to do a video on how I created this dividend tracking Excel spreadsheet that I have that you can see in the background. So basically, I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how I go through and create this spreadsheet. When I was trying to figure this out, there wasn't a whole lot of things that you can go to and just download and do that way. I decided, you know what, I'm going to take a weekend and try and figure out. Well, to be honest, I was bored, so that's why I put this together. I took a little bit of time, I was bored, and I was like, you know what, let me create a spreadsheet so I can see how much money I'm actually getting paid from these companies and that kind of thing, so I can track things a little bit better. Because if you don't know where you're going, you're lost. So it's good to have different tracking things. There's a lot of different things you can also use to track some of these. This is just what I like to do, and it's a good way for me to actually spend the time to research companies and those kind of things. But anyway, that's beside the point. So the first thing that you're going to do is you want this first top bar. I'm just going to copy and paste it on the next, on a new tab. We're going to create a new tab here, and I'm just going to straight up copy and paste that bad boy. You guys can copy all of that stuff. You don't have to make it look pretty like I did for mine. I just did that because I was bored that day. But I guess some people might probably make it look pretty over time. But anyway, the first thing you want is the company. What company is this? So Microsoft. Okay, and then the first thing you do is you go to the top of the bar and you go to this data tab. You click on data, you click on stocks. And when you do that, Microsoft populates some stuff on the side. It asks you, so what index are you trying to look at this in? Is it in the London stock? Nope, we're in the US, so I'm gonna select the NASDAQ. So we'll say that one, boom, it's got it for you. So from here on out, it's gonna start populating all this information. By the way, this is the good thing about this spreadsheet. You don't have to download anything else. That's the other thing that I was seeing everywhere was you have to buy something, subscribe to something, and get an add-on and all this stuff. I ain't got time for all of that stuff. This is straight up in Microsoft itself because, as you know, Microsoft owns MSN. And so in Microsoft, it's attached to MSN. It uses that as its information source, and it populates all of this stuff. So it's really direct information. There's some stuff that it doesn't populate, which is unfortunate, but even then, you're gonna have to come in here and put in some stuff. So anyway, the second thing over there is the ticker. You press equals to, and you click on that so it references it, and you scroll down and you select clicker and you double click. You press enter, boom, it puts the ticker symbol in there, which is cool. The next one, this one is the number of shares that you have bought for the company. So if we go to my Robinhood portfolio real quick, we'll see that the number of shares that I have bought is only one from Microsoft. So if it was in my M1 Finance portfolio, it would look different. It would probably be way less than one share in Microsoft. But for this one, it's one share. So we go back in here, we click one. Now this one, the average price is the average cost that it has cost you to buy Microsoft. If I had bought more than one share of Microsoft, it might be a different price. But for me, I only have one share, so the cost is the price that it cost me for that one share. But if you look at like the 6 shares that I have for SCHD, it is $48.97. So this is like basically the way we dollar cost average. I talk about it a lot. Dollar cost averaging is really good for you. And so with that being said though, the average cost is just, if you go to your M1 portfolio, you go to account and you go to account again and you scroll down, boom, it tells you the price and then it tells you your average cost on it. This is the column that you want to look for if you're in Robinhood. M1 also has something similar. It will say average price. If you go, I don't know about other brokerages and those kind of things, but for those two, those are the ones that I have access to and those are the ones that I can tell you about. So for me, it was 109. See, I was talking too much. No, don't forget. 109.26. So 109.26. And then you go to the market price. And the market price is basically what is the price of the share right now in the market. So you click equals to. Again, you will click on that A2. And then you scroll down and you just find price. Now, there are two options. You can either click extended hours. In other words, what is the price after the market close? Did it keep dropping? You know, the stock market has two different closing times. It has I think it's the 4 o'clock closing time, and then it has the 6 o'clock extended hours closing time. So you can click one of those two. It doesn't really matter which one you click, I don't think, for the most part, but I'm just going to say extended hours so I can get the most up-to-date pricing at this point in time because I'm doing this at nighttime. Boom, it puts that number in there. This is key. This is one of the key things that's very important for you to do, so you don't have to be putting in the price of these things all the time. So these things can update on its own over time, which is key for this management of this spreadsheet. So the next one is your cost basis, and your cost basis, all it is it's a fancy term of saying how much it has cost you in total to buy all the shares. So cost basis is just basically your number of shares times how much your average share has cost you, how much an average has cost you. Boom. Your market value is the same thing, except it's going to be using the market price times the number of shares you have. So if I change this number of shares to be 3, you will notice it will change that number, both of these column numbers. If I change this to be 4, you will notice it will change both of these column numbers. So we'll change this back to 1 though, to keep this honest and open and true. So that's what those two numbers are. The next one is your gain and loss. And all your gain and loss is comparing your market value minus your cost basis. And boom, that's it. And then your growth is taking your market value divided by your taking your gain / loss divided by your market value, and that tells you the growth. Now, if you notice, it's not putting that in percentages. Now, if you wanted to display it as a percentage, you come here, you click home, and you click percentage. Boom, it changes it to a percentage. You can do the same thing for, like, if you want these to show that these are dollar amount, you can click dollar right there. It fills that tab in. You can click that one, click that dollar sign up top. It does the same thing. So that's how you do that. Now, the next column is your annual dividend. For this information, unfortunately, Microsoft does not pull this information in automatically. So you're going to have to go to whatever website you prefer to look up all this information. I use Seek and Alpha. I already have Microsoft pulled up. So it shows you right there. Boom. Annual payout is $2.04. So we're going to take that number. And also we're going to need this dividend yield number as well. So $2.04 and 1.11. We're going to go back into our Excel sheet. 2.04. And then dividend yield, we did 1.11. Again, we can change this to be a percentage. It's going to change it up, but we can always just correct it to make it the right thing. And then after that, the only thing that annoys me is that it rounds it up and it doesn't show the full percentage sometimes, which is really annoying. You can format that. We're not going to do that right now. You can format that with some of these buttons to make it show what it needs to show, but we're not going to do that right now. The next one is your yield on cost. Basically, your yield on cost is just comparing your annual dividend, how much you're getting paid out, versus how much you paid to own the stock. So you say equals to this divided by my cost basis, and boom, that tells you how much your yield on cost is. You can put the percentage on there. Only costing me about 2%, which is wonderful. Again, I don't really know a whole lot of yield on cost. I saw this on somebody else's fancy portfolio. Apparently it's supposed to tell me how much, if it's good that I'm getting paid in comparison. I don't really know that much, but it's there. So the next one is your annual income. And all that one is equal to the number of shares, your annual dividend, times the number of shares that you have. So if you press that, boom, that's it. That's the whole thing of how you put together this portfolio. It doesn't take that long. You probably do it in 5 minutes. So to make it look pretty and to make it look fancy and all that stuff, you click up here, you click new rule, you click format, and you tell it cell value, and you go down here, say less than 0, format, make it red. Say okay, and then you go back up here. You create another rule, click on that same format only cells that contain cell value greater than 0. You click on format, you click green, you say okay, boom. And that's how you can do that. Now, of course, you can change this up and change your rules. If you manage your rule, instead of it highlighting it, doesn't matter. You can delete that. You can highlight how you want it to. Instead of highlighting it, you can edit your rule and change it to be like, format that and be like, no, I don't want it to highlight. Say no effect. You go over here, you click on font, and you come down here and say, make it green color instead. Say okay, say okay, say okay, boom, that changes it to a green color. And you can do the same thing for these. Basically, the greater than 0, or if it's greater than 0, it's going to make it green. If it's less than 0, it's going to make it red. That's basically it. That's all I do for this portfolio. So if you want to, and then the cool thing is, like, if I say Apple here, for example, press enter, I click on this, we go back to data and I click stock, say Apple. All I need to do now is select all of these things, drag down, and basically correct all the information. So Control Z that. Correct all the information that you have to put in. So for example, the number of shares, the average cost that it cost you for that share. So these information that you have to put in yourself. The annual dividend payout, you have to put that in yourself as well. Basically, you put those information in and everything else populates. It basically puts that stuff in. So if we say, for example, I have 2 shares of Apple. And I bought them at $150 each. Boom, it'll fill in all that stuff. Apple dividend, we can come in here in Seeking Alpha and just say Apple, which I can't spell Apple. Go to Apple, boom. We see their dividend is $3.28 and their yield is 1.07. So 3.28, 1.07, boom. All that information gets filled out for you on your behalf. So that's just the way that you do all of this stuff. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like button below. Hit that subscribe button. Check out the podcast if you haven't checked it out. The link will be down in the description below. That's all I have for this. God bless each and every single one of y'all. I hope this is useful. Wash your hands. Don't go out too much. This pandemic is real. God bless y'all. Peace.